As you can see, this is a team. Epic's doing all the work. There's some rares in there to supply us a bit of Lord bonus skill stuff, and that is about it really. They are not kitted out in Ancient Arcana full sets, everything like that, most of them in broken sets. The gear I think is good, but it's good for my account, so you'd have to judge whether gear you think is good or not. Artifact wise, it's around the 13ish, level 13 mark, so that's about where they are. Mythic artifacts level 13, gear rolled up to 16, but it's not a all ancient soulbound arcana. Okay, right, let's go and see how this works. I didn't post a video yesterday because it takes quite a bit of work to go through this, level up champions, particularly ones that I don't have leveled up and that sort of thing, and swapping gear around. So if you could now help me out, as I've been trying to look for the least amount of champions you can use, or the most common champions with the least amount of gear on them you can use to achieve this, then if you could help me out and hit that thumbs up and subscribe button, that would be gratefully received. So thank you very much for that. Now let's get into the run. Okay, to start with, you only need one real tank and one sort of half tank. So I'm using the rare as a half a tank, and I'm using Olag as a real tank. Now the real tank is only going to be used in certain scenarios. He's used on the bottom here. When those archers come down, they actually hit quite hard. So we're using him to do the archers. The rest of the hits from the from the boss and the AoE thing, anyone can tank that. That's not tricky. And it's always a defender that gets hit by the boss, so we know where the boss is hitting. And that's why we use a tank, but we only have to use a real tank for these archers that have come down now. That's about it for him. Next down is Mari. She's going just above Olag. She is facing up and she covers 3 tiles to the right of her and 3 tiles to the left. She's there supplying like hybrid AoE and freeze and slows for her, so CC and AoE. Next down is Mole. He's down there to give us some more freezes to slow the enemy down and supply that knockback to push them back and give us a bit more breathing space when we need it, and we do need it. Then next goes down is our Hollow. She's going to work as healer, she's going to work as rage regen, and she's going to keep everyone going, including our main DPS, which is going to be over onto that far right hand tile. Now we're waiting for 25 coins. We can get greed down. We put him straight across so he's hitting the mobs. We're waiting for those archers to be dead so we can get rid of our tank from there, because we don't want the new guys hitting the tank, because that way they will heal themselves. So if there's no tank there, they won't hit anyone and they won't heal. As soon as they hit that first range where we can put a fighter down, Aatrox goes down, he gets attacked, the ground effect goes down, and as soon as they walk over it, it's Maul's ultimate that goes off to push them back into it again. Now as soon as they walk back past it, we trigger Mari's ultimate and we just start blasting them down, and that is her done. We are also waiting, I miss it by a little bit, but as soon as we hit 19 coins, you can put I down, and I put her at the top there. She's facing right and she can start getting those crystal bombs down as soon as possible. That's what you want her there for. Now as soon as she's down, wait for the boss to hit your tank. Once the boss hits your tank, I get rid of Olag to give myself that extra square where greed can fill in, and then I swap tanks out to my rare from the Northrend, giving me my Northrends an extra 5%. So she goes down as our tank up there, and she tanks up the damage quite easily with no issues whatsoever. It's not much damage, like I say, it's those archers. Now just waiting for our next group to come along. Aatrox is back down, ready to die for us, so we can put the ground effect down. There's the ground effect done. Maul's there again, ready to freeze him on top of the ground effect. And we are triggering our ultimates. We're just trying to get Greed's up and Mari's up so she can keep going. In the meantime, Vortex goes down right at the top of the map, and his sole job is to keep I alive. That's all she's there for. Now you see back down at the bottom, we've got the last few coming through. We can freeze them in place and allow our ultimates to do the work on them. And if need be, we've still got Mole's ultimate that we can use just to push them back again if we need to. Luckily, this case, we don't have to, but it's there should we want to. Now, as the mobs come down from the top and blow up the ice crystals, as soon as there's a gap, I put Aatrox in there again so that he can die, he can put the ground effect down, and I put him down as soon as possible. The reason for this is, as soon as he's down, the sooner he gets blown up, the sooner he's available again to go back out, and that is realistically all I do. I keep going around that cycle. Now the next step to do, as they've come down and about to die, we've now got an archer come in, which means we need a real tank. So it's away our Northerner Lord, our rare Northerner Lord, and Olag is back down, and he is just going to tank up that damage for me as that archer comes in across the bottom, and it gives another square for Mari and Greed to kill the adds that have come down from the top. And also you want to do it at the bare minimum amount of effort, so you've still got their ultimates available for when the next lot's coming in from the right. Now this does sound a lot for everyone to get through, but we've got Aatrox back up now, so we've got another ground effect ready to go. The other thing is, if you've got any better champions in this, you're going to find this easier than I did, so it's not as bad as it originally seems. Now, Aatrox is back down at the top again, and this is about the last big push for the last sort of 20-ish mobs coming through. So we're doing the ones at the top, we're keeping more going to keep the ones at the bottom being pushed back, and we want them all to converge around where Mari and Greed's ultimates can go off at the same time, so we can nuke down as many as we possibly can in one swift go. So that takes them about 22 up to about the 30-ish mark, and as they start to unfreeze themselves and start coming towards us or coming towards our tank, because we don't want them to touch the tank because they'd start healing, I think they get 1 or 2 heals off, which is a shame. We then start pushing them back, more ultimates going off, and as soon as Aatrox is available again, just chuck him in at the crowd, let him get killed off, and let that AoE ground effect go off for you as well. And then Hollow, as soon as you can, set her off, get the ultimates running round, because you want those ultimates coming through as quickly as possible. And then once you've got this sort of down to around the 50-ish mark, once you've got those last sort of that pack of 20 coming in done, it really is easy from here on in. Like I said, I've got the last few coming down now, but once these are done, there's a small pack of 4 at the top, and we've got all the time in the world to do them. They're not an issue. It's that bit beforehand, those sort of 20 mobs where they come from down from the top and from the left to the right to start with. They're the tricky bit, but now they've got to walk slowly through the ice crystals, and the ultimates are going to be up by the time they get down. I'm feeling quietly confident. I don't see as there be any issue killing these and getting it done. Hollow ticked off just in case, but there's no real need. There we go. What have we got? 2 more left in there. And they've got a couple of ice crystals to walk through as well, so they're not going to achieve that. And that's it. We're all clear. It's 3-starred. It's done and dusted. It now works on full auto for us with what I would consider to be a free-to-play team. Now for Kira's here, she's going to force us to take through certain things as opposed to looking at gear and stats, that sort of stuff. So we'll end the video here, and I will put in the damage. So Greed top DPS, followed very closely by she was chucking down her crystal bombs. After that, a little bit after, was Aatrox just chucking down on the ground. Anyone come in, they can kill him, the ground effect can go off, and recycle him as quickly and as often as possible. After that is Mari. She is there as doing a lot of CC for us, so her damage doesn't necessarily reflect her workload, so to speak. And again, that's the same with Maul. Maul was under 2 million damage. He's doing the wrong sort of damage on this, but he's applying those freezes and keeping people from getting to the goal, or the enemies from coming over. So he does a fantastic job there. And then we've got our 2 tanks and healers, and that's it really. Okay, so let's go over the gear then. I would say the gear's okay. Some people would say it's trash, some people would say it's brilliant, I suppose. But you shouldn't be doing this without your gear leveled up to 16. If it is ancient, I have leveled it up. So here is a rundown of what they've got. They're mostly in attack percentage or crit damage and attack percentage. I try and get crit rate to 100%. I don't worry if I am just over it. And the artifacts, hers is up to 16. I think that's the highest. There's greed. His is level 10 because it's Tier of Twilight, and I would rather use more of them at level 10 than I would one of them at 13. There's his gear. Some purple rolls on it, some nice gear. But I think on the right hand side, I don't think anyone is in a set. So make of that what you will. You might be able to do better out of it than me if you can make some sets up. I don't think I've really got decent stuff to make sets up with. Here's Maul again. Everyone's got them all made up. If you've done, you must have done gear rates 18 and 19 by now, or at least 18 to qualify for doing this. So you've definitely got them all made up and agreed, I would imagine. So this is their gear, and he's there really for that freeze and for that knockback. Yes, they're all up to Awaken 5, with the exception of Aatrox. He's only got his A1 done. If you can get him to A5, you're doing a lot better than me, and also I think that helps his ground effect damage as well. Now if you can get legendaries booked into this team as well, then your team will produce much easier than mine will to actually get out the damage and to keep these from getting forward. I used a couple of rares on mine. Sorry, here's the healers. Now the healers, there isn't much healing being done in the fight itself, to be honest. It's not that much of a healing frenzy fight, so their gear isn't massively rolled up. Hollow is really there for the rage regen, just to keep those ultimates coming around as quickly as possible, more than anything else. Vortex placed down at the top, and he kept Eye alive, and that was it. You didn't really see him again or have anything to do with him again. I don't think I triggered his ultimate or anything. I just put him down and forgot about him really. So the other people we had here were tanks. We had 2 tanks available for us. Now everyone, I'm assuming, has got their OLAG if they're doing this sort of content. I'm assuming everyone has. His gear is at 16 and it's just HP percent all the way down on the right hand side, and he's got a life force set which gives him another 25%. Also, when I'm building the tank, I'm looking for defense percentage in the substats and hopefully flat HP and flat defense as well. Now here are the rares. The first one, I have leveled her up. She is level 50 and 5-starred, and again it's just there. She's just in the stuff I had lying around that is at level 12 or 16 with HP percent on there. That is realistically it, because if she's not tanking the archers, then the damage isn't that bad. But she's there mostly to give all the other northerners like Mari 5%. Now here's Nero. He is just there solely for the Lord skill. He gives our people another 5%. If you've got the epic, then you can give everyone 10% and you can do better than me. So that's it. There was no power of dominance on. That was a team. I hope you find it helpful that this is what I would consider a free-to-play team. The account, in full transparency, I wouldn't say is free to play. I have been paid 1,600-ish diamonds, so that's gone into the account, so technically I don't think the account is free to play. I would say that team certainly is, with the level of gear and the champions used. So I hope you found it helpful. If you have, do me a favour, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in a video again soon, because I'm probably going to pull some shards tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Have a good night. I'll catch you later. Goodbye.